All right, so are you ready to dive into some seriously twisted time travel?
Oh, yeah. Always up for a good paradox.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into Caddo Lake.
Uh-huh.
And we got this article here that really breaks down the ending.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it's a wild ride.
Time travel, always a recipe for a good head scratcher.
Right. This film doesn't just mess with time travel.
Yeah.
It throws in a family drama that'll leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about, well, family.
Oh, yeah. The family tree in this one is seriously tangled.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And at the center of it all is this concept called the predestination paradox.
Yes. The predestination paradox. Always a fun one.
So I gotta admit, the predestination paradox always leaves me feeling a bit like I'm trying to untangle a string of Christmas lights.
Yeah, I can see that.
Could you maybe help us straighten this out a bit?
Sure. Sure. Imagine this. You go back in time, right?
Okay.
To stop something from happening, but your actions actually end up causing that very thing to happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a total mind bender.
So like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but with time travel.
Exactly, exactly. And Caddo Lake really dives headfirst into this paradox. The whole plot is built around these twists and turns where the future directly impacts the past.
And speaking of twists, this article points out the film's first big shocker. The main character, Ellie, finds out her younger half-sister, Anna,
Yeah.
is also her grandmother.
Talk about a family reunion you weren't expecting.
Right. But it doesn't stop there.
Oh, no.
The film throws another curveball. Ellie's father, Paris, didn't actually abandon his family like everyone thought.
Mm.
He got lost in time.
Which, of course, sets off this whole chain reaction that leads to the paradox.
Right, so where do we even begin to unravel this whole time travel knot?
Well, we got to look at the different time periods the film jumps between.
Okay.
There's 1952, 2003, 2005, and then 2022.
Okay, so 4 key years.
Exactly. And we start in 2003 with Paris. He's obsessed with this mystery surrounding his mother's death, and he ends up wandering into Caddo Lake. Now, we later find out this lake is like a portal through time.
Oh, okay, so Caddo Lake is more than just a pretty backdrop.
Much more. It's the key to the whole time travel mess.
But how does this all tie back to Anna becoming Ellie's grandmother?
Okay, so fast forward to 2022.
Right.
Ellie's younger sister, Anna, follows her to the lake,
Uh-huh.
and she gets pulled back in time. She ends up in 1952,
Oh, wow.
and Paris, who's also wandering around in the past,
Okay.
he finds her there, injured.
Oh, no.
He tries to save her, but in doing so, they both get pulled even further back in time, still in 1952.
Wait, so Paris, who's from the future, is the one who brings his future mother to the past.
Yep, that's the predestination paradox in action. He's trying to save her, but he's actually ensuring she becomes his mother.
Wow, that's like layers upon layers of crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's a closed loop. The past and the future completely intertwined.
Okay, let me try to get this straight.
Yeah.
So Anna is stuck in 1952, grows up, and then eventually has a son whom she names Paris.
Yes,
And this is the same Paris we meet at the start of the film.
precisely.
And, oh man, this is where it gets even more tragic.
Yeah.
Anna and young Paris, they're in a car accident in 1999.
A terrible accident right into the lake.
So the lake strikes again.
It does. Anna dies, but Paris survives.
And this trauma is what fuels his obsession with figuring out what happened to his mother.
Exactly. The whole cycle of tragedy and mystery starts with that fateful trip to the past.
But wait, we haven't even talked about Ellie's accidental time travel to 2005.
Right.
Where does that fit into all of this?
Oh, that's where things get really interesting. Ellie's journey back to 2005 adds a whole other layer of complexity, especially when it comes to the love story at the heart of the film.
Hmm.
Ellie's trip to 2005, it isn't just some random side trip,
Right.
it really is a crucial part of the timeline, and it
Yeah.
adds like this whole emotional punch to the story.
Right, right.
So remember, she ends up back in 2005,
Yeah.
2 years after Paris vanished.
And she runs into her mother, C,
Yeah.
who's holding baby Ellie.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Oh, it'd be so trippy. Like seeing your mom holding you as a baby.
It would mess with your head, right?
Right.
So she sees this young woman who looks so much like Paris,
Yeah.
and naturally she just assumes the worst.
Yeah, she thinks he's moved on and started a new family.
Exactly. She has no idea that she's actually looking at her future daughter.
It's just heartbreaking because we know the truth about Paris being lost in time.
Right.
But C's just left there heartbroken thinking he abandoned her.
Yeah, and that encounter, it has this ripple effect, you know?
Yeah.
It shapes her choices. She ends up marrying another man, Daniel,
Right.
and that sets the stage for Ellie's life as we know it.
So Ellie going back in time basically leads to her own existence.
It's like she's creating her own origin story just by trying to understand it.
Wow. This whole time loop really makes you think about free will and destiny, huh?
It does, doesn't it? Like, are we really calling the shots in our lives?
Right. Or are we just playing out roles in a story that's already written?
Exactly. Caddo Lake really brings those big questions to life, doesn't it?
It does, in a way that's both entertaining and makes you really think.
Yeah.
But, okay, before we get too deep into the philosophy of it all,
Yeah.
let's bring Paris back into the picture. So we know he dies.
Yeah.
But how does he get back to 2022 after being stuck in the past for so long?
Okay, so after that trip back to 1952 with young Anna,
Right.
Paris spends years searching for a way back to his own time.
Yeah.
And remember, he doesn't know yet that C is pregnant with Ellie.
Right.
All he knows is that he left her behind, and he wants to get back to her.
It's so sad knowing he's stuck there while she's back in 2003 thinking he left her. Talk about a messed up love story.
And the irony is he eventually finds a way back to 2022.
He does.
Yeah, using the rope that Ellie left behind
Oh, right.
when she traveled to 2005.
Wow.
But the trip takes its toll,
Yeah.
and he dies soon after he arrives back in his own time.
So both Paris and Anna end up victims of this time-traveling lake.
Yeah.
It's like Caddo Lake itself is this like powerful force that connects people and destroys them.
It's a powerful image, for sure, and I think it really reflects those core themes of the film.
Yeah.
Loss and love and how the past just keeps hanging on.
But the story keeps going.
Right.
Ellie makes it back to 2022 too,
Mm-hmm.
and she has to tell her mother some really heavy stuff.
Right. She has to tell everything about Paris and Anna, about this crazy time loop their lives are all tangled up in.
Can you imagine having to explain to your mom that your little sister is actually your grandmother?
It's mind-blowing, isn't it? But in a way, finding out the truth brings C some peace.
Yeah.
She finally understands what really happened to Paris, and she realizes that he always loved her.
It's bittersweet, right? She lets go of all that anger and resentment, but it's also like a weight lifted.
Absolutely. And she discovers the truth about Anna, too. You know, that her daughter's out there living a life she could never have imagined.
It's a strange and beautiful ending. And Ellie comes to accept Daniel, her mom's husband, as her family.
That's the heart of Caddo Lake, right?
Yeah.
It takes us on this wild journey through time, but ultimately it's a story about family and how those bonds hold strong.
And it leaves us with so many questions. Like, if we could travel back in time, would we? Knowing all the risks, the paradoxes,
Right.
would we change things, even if it meant altering history itself? It really makes you think, huh, like, would you have the guts to do it,
Yeah.
if you could actually go back and change things?
It's tempting, isn't it? But Caddo Lake reminds us that messing with time can have consequences.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like with Ellie's trip to 2005, she didn't mean to change anything,
Yeah.
but just being there had this huge impact on her mom's life.
Exactly. It makes you wonder about that butterfly effect thing, you know?
Oh, totally.
Like one tiny change can snowball into something much bigger.
Right. It's like the past, the present, and the future are all connected.
They are, completely. Caddo Lake really drives that point home, doesn't it?
It does. It's kind of humbling to realize we might not have as much control as we think.
That's true. But there's also something beautiful about it.
Yeah,
Like, we're all part of this grand design.
I like that.
Our lives are woven together by time and circumstance.
And in the end, C finds peace with what happened to Paris and Anna.
Right. She finally understands.
Yeah.
And she lets go of all that anger and resentment.
It's a reminder that even with all the sadness and loss, there can still be acceptance.
Yeah. And even a sense of wonder.
Well, this deep dive has been quite a journey.
It has, hasn't it?
We've untangled this crazy time loop, explored the predestination paradox.
You went deep.
We did. And even got into some pretty heavy philosophical stuff.
It's amazing what a film like Caddo Lake can do.
Right. It makes you think about some pretty big ideas.
And that's the power of a good story, isn't it?
Totally. Caddo Lake isn't just sci-fi. It's about love and loss and the strength of family.
And how even when things seem impossible, the human spirit finds a way.
Well said. So this article we've been talking about, it leaves us with this idea that time is just bizarre.
It is, isn't it?
And it shapes our lives in ways we can never fully grasp.
That's the beauty of it, I think. The mystery, the endless possibilities.
Exactly. It's a reminder that life's full of surprises.
And sometimes the best things come from embracing the unknown.
So to all you deep divers out there, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions, and keep your minds open to the wonders that are out there, past, present, and future. Until next time.